Not believing what he has just witnessed, the mayor stared blankly at the monstrous snake which I severed into many pieces. What had happened? Fearfully the mayor asked. You killed the snake? How is this even possible? He reached out his hands trembling trying to figure out whether is this a dream. I turned my head back slowly. Unbelievable? You say that as if the monster wasn't supposed to die, I mocked. That is... Realizing that I found out his secrets, the mayor grit his teeth. It was for the village. This snake prevents other monsters from attacking our village, he shouted in frustration. For this village, I calmly said. Are you sure it's not for yourself? I continued. He was dumbfounded at the question I posted. I know a little about this monster. It's an predatory feeding snake. This snake mostly spends its time on eating and sleeping. It nests and marks its territory until it leaves, preventing weaker monsters to enter its territory, I said. Hence, if you want it around the village, you must keep feeding it. And that the person who feeds it who never fall prey to this snake. I continued. After hearing those words, cold sweat starts gliding down his forehead. He didn't know how to react or what to say. I'm guessing you knew this characteristics beforehand. And tried to play hero by feeding the villagers to the serpent, I expressed mercilessly, leaving him alone in fear and trembling. Today is when your hypocrisy ends. With his pet snake dead and secrets out of the bag, the mayor lost all rationale, fall on his 2 knees before the dead parts. Meanwhile in the village, everyone was astonished. They are astonished when I showed them the head of the monster below them all this while. Is this true? The chief lied to us? No way, that's a lie. He told us we were holding ceremonies for the earth god. Questions, doubts, disbelief, denial floats the air in that instant. What about my husband who was offered as a sacrifice? A woman suddenly burst into tears. I can't believe this happened too. The man tried to comfort her. It's shocking that the chief lied to us, but again it keeps our village safe. One of the villagers spoke up. Since our safety is gone, how are you going to take responsible of this? The villagers asked frantically. I will help, I replied. Immediately, the chaotic villagers turned silent, shocked that I offered my help. Let me show you something. I squat down and took out eggs. These were the eggs from the snake. The villagers turned pale at the scene of the eggs. Hear me out, I proposed. Since the snake doesn't attack its feeder, I suggest we raise these snakes. Don't worry, you would not need to sacrifice anyone, but why not we feed them with other monsters? I proceeded. But who's going to capture these monsters to feed them snakes? The villagers doubtfully questioned. I could capture them initially, but since I'm an outsider, it's only wise if I leave it to you when I leave. The villagers couldn't accept this solution. Stop talking nonsense, one of them yelled. We have nothing but farming tools, how are we supposed to kill monsters? Confused I asked, isn't this your village? If no one protects it, who will? It's not as simple as that, he shouted. With a deadly stare I said, give up then or continue feeding yourself to the monsters until you are completely wiped out. The atmosphere turned awkward quickly. No one dares to speak up or even move a muscle. This village is so weak that they are not willing to sacrifice for themselves, but always dependent on others. That's why heroes exist, a hero forced by others' wills. Again, I shouldn't hope much for people who have already lost their will. Probably, this idea is too much for them to handle, I will have to think of another plan. While I was deep in my thoughts, a familiar voice rose among the awkwardness. We'll do it, she said. I lifted my head and saw a girl so shy that she hid behind her mother after saying those words. You're the kid from before, I spoke. Slowly she uncovers herself from her mother's back and smiles embarrassedly at me. I don't know if I can be of any help, but I want to become strong like you, and protect my people, she claimed. Those words were shocking due to her age but comforting at the same time. I smiled gladly and replied, you're an awesome kid. If everyone works together, I'm sure you can protect your village, I proceeded. A kid saying they're gonna do it? What about you adults? I turned my head around and scowled at them. We will try. It's better than being massacred without doing anything. With newfound passion, the villager declared. Me too. Count me in. I'm fighting. In one voice and unity the villagers agreed to fight for themselves. However, one of the villagers came out and claimed that the villagers here are weak and afraid, and only take advantage as they need a protector. He pleaded that I teach them to fight during my stay with them. And there a blue screen flash in front of me. The villagers have gained willpower, completion rate 60%, and that was enough to put a smile on my face. Now then, shall we begin? Dark in the caves, underneath the village, where I slaughtered the snake. Arrogant outsider. Bastard. How dare he disrespect me without knowing anything about me? The chief was lurking down in the caves. Step by step he get closer and closer to a beast that looks like a bird sleeping in the dungeon. When it noticed the burning torch held by the person, it opens its fierce bright yellow eye, ready to attack any time. I'm going to wipe them out. A grin of evil spread across his face. He is none other than the cunning chief himself.